Hi, this is Doug, and this is another video in the series on BigCommerce product data imports. This particular video is going to cover using the WebDav programs that we've written to upload the pictures and the PDFs of spec sheets and install guides into the WebDav backend of BigCommerce. This must be done before you run the BigCommerce product import process that is part of the accumulation of all the revision videos to create the final spreadsheet. Files have to be in place before you import the CSV file, or else of course it'll fail because all those links to those files and pictures will not exist. Now, hopefully at this point you've gone through the Rev2 process and you have downloaded these files from the vendor's site and clean them up as need to be done first. If you've done so, this Rev2, the sheet, should have some columns on the end that show you the status of the downloads for the hopefully, of course, as we mentioned, it just creates a column file size. Every time you run this, you should name what it is. You can tell the next one in the run. Oh, so this is image 1, this is the image 2 run, this is the install guide run, etc., etc. This entry here represents the number of bytes that the downloaded file was, and that helps you filter out what might be malformed or images that say image not available, things like that. Anyway, gives you a good idea of where to look when things went bad. Of course, this will be blank if the file did not download properly. And you can run the download process again, or identify that the link is broken, find another way of creating that picture for that product, or remove the product from the import process entirely. When you are done with that filtering and cleanup process, then you go ahead and delete these things from the end. So we're going to assume at this point that the files downloaded properly, and now we need to upload them to BigCommerce. So we don't need the spreadsheet so much at this point. We can go ahead and run the program. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the folder of the files that we're dealing with. So for some background, BigCommerce recommends using CyberDuck to load files in the backend on their WebDav drive. And CyberDuck is a free open source program, and it's not bad, but it's not designed for moving a huge number of files. It's designed for moving 50, 100 files at a time. When you're dealing with trying to move 26,000, 46,000 pictures at a time, it just simply isn't up to snuff. It crashes and it dies all the time. This was the reason for creating our special WebDav programs, to be able to bypass CyberDuck's failings. But using it right now, we see what it is the programs that we're running are going to do. So if we take a look at the content folder of the WebDav backend, here are the folders that we've created that contain the install guides and spec sheets for every brand that we're going to have on our e-commerce site. Now, PDF spec sheets, BigCommerce was never really designed to be able to handle those, so this is kind of a clumsy workaround where we embed, we store the files in location in WebDav that makes it publicly available, and then we embed an HTML code, the links to the file within the product description. That way it shows up on the website. Not an elegant solution by any stretch, but it does work. And of course, in order to keep sense of the chaos, because we're going to have 250,000+ products on this site at some point, we create a subfolder in content for each brand to be able to keep things separated. All right, so that's how the links and where we're going to import the PDFs to. When it comes to images, when you do a bulk import, all of the images that will be used for your product records are temporarily stored in product images in the folder import as such. When you run the import spreadsheet, CSV, and run the import process, the programs in BigCommerce will read each one of these picture files from the import folder, and it will rename them and refile them in its own format and sequence. And this is what all these ABCs and such are. This is where it makes copies of those original images and renames them in its own format to keep track of. Once this process is done, the contents of the import folder are not used any longer. It's only done that one time when you're doing the one import, and you don't need these source files ever again. So of course we also, if you're dealing with 96,000 files, you want to clean out the import folder after every major import, or else it gets to be an unwieldy mess of trying to keep track of what you've imported and what you haven't. So at the end of doing an upload of these files, we run another set of programs that will eliminate the contents of the import folder and keep it nice and clean. So the first program we have, WebDav images upload all BigCommerce. This is going to, as I said, this is going to upload the image files to product images and import. This is a fairly simple run. Let's see here. Let's expand this out a little bit so I can actually see what the bleep I'm doing. Hard to run this when the run button is missing. Okay, so we do run, start debugging, Python file. Okay. We've got two sites that we play with. The original is our developer site, and BC New is, of course, the final site. We're going to do this test on the developer side, of course, so we select that one. Here we enter the directory of where the images are that we're going to import. We're going to import the RAB image 1 JPEGs because they're already in a format that that is necessary. So we go ahead and copy that and paste it in here. And then continue. Okay. As the program goes through its thing, it will create a subfolder within the images directory named transfer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how many times the program is run. As it picks every file in that subdirectory and copies it up successfully, it will move that file into the transfer directory. As you can see, the list of files gets reduced over and over again. This is done on purpose so that if the upload process is interrupted for some strange reason or freezes, you can restart the program. It'll pick up right where it left off. It will create an xfer2, xfer3, xfer4 directory depending on how many times it's rerun. So you can see exactly which files got uploaded in that process just by looking at the subdirectory. So the program can be run several times without any problems, and it will not repeat things that it's already uploaded. And we see here at a completed process that the program has said program complete and terminated. The folder is empty. All the transferred files show up in transfer 1, telling us that that upload is complete. And for extra positive confirmation, if we want to look at CyberDuck here and look in the images import, and of course you have to do a refresh or else they won't show up, and you'll see all the files did actually get to where they were supposed to. All well and good. We use the WebDav PDF upload all BigCommerce program to deal with the install guides and spec sheets, PDFs that need to be put in content, as we said. Once again, our location where these are going to go is content, and in this case, since it's RAB, it's going to go in the RAB subfolder. And this will work in a slightly similar way. So we go ahead and run this program on our original site, our test site. We enter in the directory of the files that we want to upload, the local directory. So we copy that, paste it in there. Here, if there wasn't already an existing subdirectory here under content for RAB, we would give it a name. It would create the subdirectory for us. CyberDuck has a problem doing that. In this case, we're not going to create a new directory. The RAB directory is already in place for us. It will go through and it will see what subdirectories exist under content, and it will list them for you to select so as to remove all possibility for screw-ups. So in this case, we see the RAB subdirectory is selection 31. So all I got to do is put that in there, and it should go off and start doing its thing. At this point, it will operate very similarly to the images program. So it's creating a transfer subdirectory, and then it's copying each file one at a time. It'll show you where it's at as it went. When it successfully uploads, it will move those to transfer, reducing this count as it goes along. So you have a nice progress if you just keep that folder open and on your desktop. Since the PDFs are much larger than the image files, they take much longer to upload. So if you've got thousands of these things, expect it's going to have to sit hours and doing the upload process because the file sizes are so large. That's fine. The program is fine. If it runs for hours or days, no big deal. If for some strange reason it does seem to freeze up, irresponsive, or it crashes for some reason, you can, just like with the images program, restart it. It'll just pick up where it left off. It'll create another subfolder, transfer 2, transfer 3, transfer 4, and it'll move all the files from that run of the transfer into that, so you have some idea of how things went. I should also mention at this point both the image uploader program and the PDF uploader program. If the file already exists in the server and it goes to upload it again for some strange reason, if that happens, no big deal. It's just going to overwrite the already existing file, which should not be a problem because they should be the same thing. And here we see the program is completed, and as said, there are no files left in this folder. They're all in the transfer folder. Once again, if there are any files left in this folder, simply restart the program again and it will try and upload the rest. If they don't upload a second time, examine the files. There must be something wrong with them. If there is ever any questions later on that whether the uploaded files did actually upload properly, there is another program that you can run called WebDav Check Files BCXL. What this program will do is, in this case, if we go back to our Rev2 spreadsheet, if we want to confirm that, say the install guide, I think is what we used here, or if the, let's say the images, if we were concerned that the image files may have been interrupted and we want to give ourselves a warm fuzzy feeling that they actually got there, then you simply run this check files program. It will ask what column the file names, the destination file names should be, and it will go out to the WebDav folder that you select, and or in this case the images, it'll be under program images import. It will verify one-to-one that each one of these file names does exist in that location. It will create a column on the very end of this spreadsheet with a confirmation, which will either say verified or missing. And that is your confirmation the files actually got there. But as we see in the import process, the likelihood of something that got skipped after looking at those import folders and seeing there is no stragglers is rare. But anyway, you never know. Someone else might be doing part of the process. Someone might have a stroke or something and forgot somewhere through and is not entirely sure. So this removes all doubt. After the full BigCommerce import process is done, the spreadsheet has been completed, it's been exported to a CSV, and if you actually run the BigCommerce import program and it has created your new product records as such, then and only then run the WebDav images delete all program, and that will, as we said before, it'll take all of the image files that are in product images import, and it will remove them so that the import folder is nice and clean and empty for the next round of products that you will upload and process. This is just station keeping maintenance. It can be run at any time, but except make sure that you've run the import process first before you delete your images, or else your import process will fail and you'll have to upload those images again. I know, blah blah blah. That's crazy. No one would make such a mistake. You'd be surprised. Once all this is done in normal maintenance, there are a couple of programs in Files and in WebDav here that you can, in this case, use Web Files List BigCommerce. If you want to check and see what files are currently existent. This is long-term maintenance as you're making changes to your site. But that should be the end of it. Anyway, that completes the video on the BigCommerce WebDav image and PDF file importing process. Thank you for your time.